It really pains me to have to talk about this today. It really does. But I'm really worried about a faction of my audience. And quite frankly, I'm really worried about the left. And this is not concern trolling. I'm worried because of the response to a video that I did yesterday explaining some unfortunate realities about Medicare for all. I did a video yesterday where I explained in no uncertain terms, we're not getting Medicare for all anytime soon. Now, there are lots of good progressive takes that agree with that. One example is progressive economist Dean Baker's recent comments about Medicare for all. He is a progressive. I had him on the show recently. There was no question about it. I did the video in good faith. I said, listen, I'm for Medicare for all. I believe Medicare for all is the gold standard. I want Medicare for all. I'm not suggesting that we push lame centrist policy because getting Medicare for all will take much longer than some people think. I'm not suggesting that we don't hold our candidates accountable to the gold standard that is Medicare for all. But I explained some unfortunate realities about Medicare for all with the hope that once we all understand these, we can be stronger in our advocacy for better policy as activists, as media people, as voters, people in the audience. The video I did is about 10 minutes long. And I expected that there would be some comments saying, David, you're kind of being a defeatist here, even though it's not what I'm actually doing. But the reaction has been, again, it's just from a piece of my audience. A lot of people understood what I was doing and appreciated it. 3 minutes after the video was published, remember, the video is 10 minutes long. 3 minutes after the video was published, it had 50 dislikes. It's only been 3 minutes. You couldn't possibly have watched the 10-minute video, even if you had it on double time on YouTube. In the 3 minutes, it took 50 people to dislike the video. And there are either people who didn't watch the video at all, or people who just watched it and don't understand what I'm saying, or people making bad faith arguments. But I am very worried because if that is the contingent that the success of our movement depends on, we will lose. And I hate to say that. Let me give you some examples. And again, I'm doing this because I want to win. And I'm worried that there are factions in our movement that are totally misguided in their reactions to people simply saying, hey, guys, we should be aware of this stuff. One example, I'm not surprised David is shilling against Medicare. I actually say in the video, probably close to a dozen times, I'm for Medicare for all. This is either an ignorant or a bad faith comment. Another user responded, Bernie can establish a state of emergency and sign it into law. Trump has set so many precedents. Listen, this is where there is an element of the left that is in a fantasy world. We are not going to get Medicare for all established through a presidential state of emergency. I understand that there's some hypothetical world in which President Bernie Sanders says, our healthcare situation is so bad that I'm declaring a state of emergency. And during that state of emergency, I am going to simply create Medicare for all. And then boom, we will have Medicare for all. It's just unrealistic. Okay, it's not worth even putting energy into that and responding to what I'm talking about by saying, David, Bernie will just declare a state of emergency and create Medicare for all. It's not happening. We are not going to win if that's what we are hoping for or waiting for. Another example. This was a very bad take and a bad faith argument, David. What was bad faith about it? They don't say. This sounds like a Nancy Pelosi speech. Please go back to being more progressive. People liked you more that way. I mean, listen, the show is bigger than ever. It's more than doubled in the last year, but that's not really I actually don't think that's the issue. That doesn't tell us whether I'm right or wrong. The idea that it's a bad faith argument when I'm saying I'm for Medicare for all, we should still push for Medicare for all, we should demand our candidates be for Medicare for all, that is what seems like bad faith to me. Another comment. Okay, so David is basically advocating for centrist policies so that we have a chance in the future. No, I literally say in the video, I am not suggesting that we advocate for centrist policies. I say it in the video. So again, either people aren't listening or they're making bad faith arguments. And lastly, now is the time to unsubscribe from this channel. Do this to be making a point. No progressive should ever be posting against Medicare for all. So again, number one, I say a dozen times in the video, I'm for Medicare for all. But more importantly, that is the sort of black and white thinking, these bogus litmus tests that are not connected to reality, not only am I for Medicare for all, I'm trying to figure out the right way to get there. One idea I had is it's more likely to start with a state doing Medicare for all. That was one example that I gave. Now, fortunately, I did get some emails from people who took the time to email me and say, David, I know you're going to get crap for this, but you're right. And I think it's good that you're doing it. We need to be more armed with facts so that we can better advocate for what we want. There were a few YouTube comments that seemed to understand what was going on. One who said, these comments show people don't listen to what he's saying. Yeah. Another commenter who said, the comments are depressing. Watch the whole video. He supports Medicare for all. He's talking about strategy here. He's talking about reality. He's right. He's saying it because people need to know the reality. We need realistic expectations and knowledge about how the system works. So listen, I'm not being defeatist. I'm not acting in bad faith. I'm saying a Bernie presidency doesn't get it for us for all of the reasons that I cited yesterday and more. I want it. I think it's the best. Listen to what I'm saying. It's not impossible. It's just way more work, and we need to know that going in. And we aren't going to succeed in any of this if we imagine such delusional things as Bernie will say we have an emergency and put in Medicare for all. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And any time wasted expecting that or suggesting that is time that you are distracting from doing the real work that needs to be done. Prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. Okay, this is one of those things where if in 3 years we have Medicare for all, I will gladly show up and say, you know what? I was skeptical, but I was wrong. You all great activists proved me wrong and we have Medicare for all. I hope that that happens, but it's not going to be closer to a reality if the reaction is, David, you shouldn't even allude to the fact that it might be more difficult than some people are making it out to be. Spend the time advocating for a groundswell of progressive candidates at all levels, all of whom want Medicare for all, so that we can take back the White House and the Senate and governor's mansions and the Supreme Court, which will be crucial in actually getting working Medicare for all. But if the reaction to me being realistic is, David, you're a shill, you're a bad person for doing this, you shouldn't be saying this, I'm now a right winger or a centrist or whatever, we will lose if we attack people who agree with us on policy, not because they even disagree on one policy, but because they differently assess its path to reality. They will crush us. They will crush us. We will lose if that's what we do. Mark my words. We will forget about Medicare for all. Trump will get reelected. We will not get the Senate. It is upsetting to see. And I'll go even further. I've talked before about how our system is set up to prevent people from really activating. What we really need are mass rallies in urban centers. We need to consider strategic defaults to cripple the financial system, mass work call-outs to cripple industry, serious forms of protest. But as I've said before, the system is designed so that no one can afford to do that by keeping wages stagnant, keeping public transit terrible in most places, and the rest of it. We've talked about it before. Let's work together, because the reaction to yesterday's video from this piece of my audience is how we end up accomplishing nothing. And I don't want to accomplish nothing. I am not suggesting we give up on anything. Should we fight for Medicare for all? Yes, we should. Should we always start negotiations from the morally correct position that we actually believe in, which is Medicare for all? Of course. But responding with kill the messenger to, I think some people are missing the reality of how this becomes the law, how this becomes our status quo. It's toxic and it will destroy the left, which I don't want to see. And I would actually argue that the left has already been hurt by this significantly. On the positions, we are already with the majority of the country. Every poll tells us on healthcare, we are with the majority. On gun safety, we are with the majority. One of the reasons, there are many reasons, and many of them are structural and gerrymandering and campaign finance. I get it. But one of the reasons why we have not been more effective is this infighting that exists when someone says, hey, I'm with you on everything except I disagree about how easy you think it's going to be, and here's what we need to know. We're going to lose. We're going to lose, and I don't want to lose. Tell me all the ways that I'm wrong if you can actually keep it issue-based. I'm on Twitter @DPakman. Leave a reply below. I'm sure that there will be more follow-up about this upcoming.